Hello and welcome to First Red Tech. So today's topic is going to be a very interesting topic and important topic as well. We are talking about encryption today. So when we open our WhatsApp chats, we will see that your chat are end-to-end encrypted. So even if our Skype and Zoom calls are also encrypted, right? So what does it actually mean and how did encryption technique become so important and how did it chronologically advance over the past few decades? So we will talk about symmetric key, asymmetric encryption as well. So make sure you watch the entire video. With that being said, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon. Also like, share and comment in the description box below about my next tech topic idea. Let's get started. So what is encryption? Encryption is scrambling or conversion of plain text to cipher text so that only the authorized parties can understand the information. And this conversion of plain text to cipher text is done by a encryption key. So I told two important words, one is a cipher text and second is a key. First, what is a cipher text? Cipher text is that kind of text which is not readily readable by a human being. And key is a mathematical equation or a mathematical complex equation which is used to encrypt a plain data to make it into a cipher form. So let's take an example. Suppose you want to secretly exchange the message hi to your friend. Okay, so you want to send this data to your friend. So you simply convert h to a and I to b. So you did a -7 conversion actually in this case. So h -7 is A, I -7 is B, and you send AB to your friend. Now your friend only knows that you did a -7 conversion, so he did a +7, A plus 7 is H, B plus 7 is I, so he got the message hi. So that is the cipher text which is AB and 7 is the key here. So that is known as ciphertext and this is key and this is what is known as encryption. Okay, so now that we know about encryption, let's see how it got started. So one of the earliest encryption technique is known as Caesar cipher, invented by Julius Caesar. He actually invented that so that he can protect sensitive information from the enemies. So in Caesar cipher the key is 3. So if you want to encrypt FRT, it will essentially become IUW. So F plus 3 is I. So so you do a +3 for encryption and decryption you do a -3. Another ancient encryption technique is known as shift cipher. In fact, it's more of a generalized version of the Caesar cipher, where in Caesar cipher you have a constant key of 3, but in shift cipher the key can be anything. So one of the famous shift cipher is ROT13, where you rotate the alphabets by 13. So for example, if you want to transform FRT using a shift cipher, it will be SEG. So F plus 13 is S, so that's how it gets converted to SEG. Another popular cipher is known as substitution cipher. So instead of relying on a particular key, it actually relies on a particular mapping. So suppose A is mapped to M, B is mapped to Z. So particular set of mapping is there for each and every alphabet. So suppose I map F as H, R as E and T as Y. So HEY will be my cipher text, and those who knows what actually F maps in reality, then they only can retrieve the actual plain text. So that is the beauty of substitutional cipher. So now that we know what is encryption and few basic encryption techniques, let's see what the modern encryption technique relies on. So modern encryption technique is actually two types. One is a symmetric encryption and second is a asymmetric encryption. So in case of symmetric encryption, there is involvement of a single key that encrypts the message and converts that message into a ciphertext. So let's take an example. Suppose Alice wants to send some information to Bob. So Alice has its own secret key, that is secret key A, and he wants to send the plain text message as a text to Bob. So what Alice does is Alice converts the plain text message into a ciphertext using his key. And when this data reaches to Bob, Bob uses Alice's secret key A and decrypts the ciphertext and gets the plain text message. So this is how, using a single key, you can encrypt a data and decrypt the same. So here only single encryption key is used. That is why it is known as symmetric key encryption. So what asymmetric encryption means is there will be involvement of two different keys. Either of one key will be used to encrypt the data and the other one will be used to decrypt the data. And remember, using asymmetric encryption, we actually have TLS. So TLS and the HTTPS, the SSL protocol actually uses asymmetric encryption at its very foundation. So that is a little bit complicated. I will make a separate detailed video with respect to asymmetric encryption, but just think that asymmetric encryption uses two different keys. One is a public key and second is a private key. So we hear this term encryption algorithm a lot. So what it is? So encryption algorithm is a complex set of mathematical equation which converts plain text into ciphertext. So encryption algorithm will also use a key at its core to convert that plain text to ciphertext, and you can change the key each and every iteration of that. So few of the examples of encryption algorithm is AES, DES, RSA, so RC4, RC5, RC6. Lot of encryption algorithms are there, and every encryption algorithm has its own strength and has its own weakness. So when we talk about encryption, we will hear this term brute force or brute force attack a lot more. So what is brute force attack? So before going to there, let me reiterate once more that in encryption, key is everything. If you have the key of the ciphertext, you are the owner of the data. So in case of brute force attack, the attacker does not have the key and tries to guess the key using millions and billions of computations, millions and billions of permutation or guesses. So that he can retrieve the key and then convert the ciphertext into plain text. So that is why it is very important to use complex mathematical equations and complex algorithms when choosing for the encryption technique. So essentially it is very susceptible that the weak passwords will be exposed eventually to brute force attack. So keep your passwords always very complicated, using caps lock, small letters, numbers and special characters. So when and where to use encryption? So essentially where you are transferring data from one source to another, you should always use encryption so that your data is not susceptible to brute force or man-in-the-middle attack. Encryption is used in a variety of technologies and it is foundational for most of them, but it is vastly used in case of internet, where each and every HTTP requests and response calls are validated and are made secure using this encryption technique. So the secure version of HTTP is known as HTTPS, Hypertext Transport Protocol Secure. So HTTPS is used, and the technology that is used beneath the HTTPS is TLS. So TLS is the technology, that is transport layer security, is the technology that essentially powers the encryption to be used in the internet layer. So before TLS there was SSL, secure socket layer, which was ultimately replaced by TLS. So that's all. I hope you liked this video. I hope this was informative. Please share this video or also like this video. That will be helpful for me as well as your friends who are in need of this kind of information. With that being said, please take care of yourself. Bye.